Here we have our old boats, our GT-150 and our V-143 jet flight over there. This GT-150 has been a really fun boat, and sand ate a piston and a cylinder in it in this old Yamaha 70. So we just kind of hung it up in the joist. I don't know, I was kind of looking for my next plan. I think I want to try to clean it up and do a repower. So if you like, follow along and you can see what we go through to take a tired old dusty boat, clean it up, put a floor in it, and do a repower. Well, we have our 150 out of the water. Just a good walk around to see what we're looking at here. Need to remove those seats. And we need to get to removing the engine. Well, we have the engine off, and it's on our well-ventilated workstation now. We're going to go ahead and split this boat to do the floor, because I want to be really thorough. You can do a floor job in the GT-150 without removing the cap, but you can do it a lot better if you remove the cap. You can get up under the front better, and you can get up under the back. And pulling the cap off is, I say it's not a big deal. I have to get behind. I have to pry these old 40-year-old rub rails out. Hang on a second, people. What's going on? Okay, let's get some safety gloves on. I think I have some sealer behind here, some kind of caulk or something. Last time I slapped this together. These are a lot of fun to put back in when they're old and stiff, but they'll go back. So all you have to do is pull the cap off. Just pull this off all the way around. So that's going to be fun getting around that trailer. Yeah, so you just pull your rub rail out. You'll have screws behind there. And on these boats, They can be glassed in top to bottom right here. And all the rest of this is overlapped. It probably has sealant in it. So it's as easy as that. Hey everyone, I'm glad you're still with us. Here's our project GT-150 you see behind me. I want to show you a few little tips and tricks before we get to cutting any more of this out. As you can see, I have this boat resting on this outer section of the boat here and not anywhere in the middle. Let's see if I can show you that a little bit better. There's a little bit of an air gap there. You see, when you take these boats apart, especially the floor out, this portion of the boat will want to sag, and you don't want to go glassing it back in while that's not where it needs to be. But if you support it out here, then you can help kind of keep the weight down in the middle and compress the middle, so it'll form right and you won't end up with a weird shaped hole. Another tip I have for you is when you do tear your boat down, if you're going to have a time of pause, keep the stringers intact. Even if they're rotten, they're still more structural than you may think. We're going to cut these completely out. We might leave a tiny bit of the ridge of the fiberglass just as a guide, but if you cut all those out completely, you need to get to putting your boat back together pretty quick, because that's when it'll really start to warp and misshape. So we are about to dig in deep and cut the rest of all this stuff out that needs to come out. So I'll put you guys back on time lapse and you can watch that happen. we're taking a little break from sanding. In fact, it's been about a week, but I kind of want to show a little up close some of the progress here. You can see we've hit this with this, which is this. You can see we haven't done the other side. We've done some sections of the front. Looks like we've done all of it, but we haven't. It's just some of that's just a little bit dustier anyway. We've done parts of it up there. Certainly haven't done any of that. I started in down here in the center in this row. We're probably going to cut down this ridge on all of the stringers to, I don't know, roughly an inch or half an inch or so, just as a guide. As long as it's all solidly glassed, it'll be a good guide for the stringers to go into, and then we can glass over. I'm probably going to remove these altogether because I'm going to try to put this boat back together without the ski locker. But so far, this little 80 grit wheel is doing great. I saw another guy on YouTube using something like this to prep his, and it looked like it was working great. Looks like he was onto something. That's a good idea. Something else that I think is kind of neat that I want to show you is, if I haven't already said this, I have already put a floor and a transom in this boat. Sadly, I've put more than one. I went off the recommendation of a professional boat fixing fiberglass guy that told me it didn't really matter what kind of wood I used, that it would all rot. It would all only last so long. So at first I just used cabinet grade birch for my transom and for my floor, and it didn't last very long at all. So I took all that back out and I used marine grade, and the marine grade transom was actually still good whenever I pulled this boat apart, but the floor was in bad shape. And the floor, actually, the wood that I used, it may not have been marine grade. It may have been some other kind of cabinety grade that I thought I sealed up good with resin, but I didn't. And it actually dry rotted on me. It didn't wet rot. But that's just showing what all I've learned, and I'm showing you also, if you don't want to do this more than once, you probably need to spend the money and get the Coosa like what I'm doing this time. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to make sure I seal everything up real good to where there's no way that that water can get in even to the Coosa. I want to seal the Coosa up good with fiberglass and paint it to make it where it's very, very sealed. I want to make it to where water can get up under the floor and it all be sealed where it won't damage anything, and then it can come right back out. I'll tell you this, water will get under your floor, so you might as well make it to where it won't hurt anything and it can drain back out. That's just my personal recommendation, but that's the route I'm going to go. But I also want to show you something else that I think is cool, is even though a lot of the work I have done in the past on this boat wasn't wonderful and certainly made for learning, I also want to show you how poor the quality of the original work was. Because a lot of that is still here and you can see it. Look at areas like this right here. This is all original 1979 Glastron stuff. And so is this big nice air pocket. And so is this big unsealed up piece here. This whole splash well is original Glastron. Pretty sloppy work. A lot of the guys I've watched on YouTube that have fixed boats have done incredible work, and they would put these factory setups to shame. But I guess back in the day with the old Glastron, it's kind of like old cars. They weren't meant to last forever, and they actually probably held up pretty good. But now that it's so many years later and we're fixing them, it makes more sense to do them up better, where they'll last longer and so forth and so on. So, kind of a progress report here. More of the factory sloppy stuff. This wasn't me. This was Glastron back in the day. You might can also tell this boat originally would have had stringer, stringer, stringer. And when I did it before, I sandwiched the middle one up to a point, and then I added stringer and stringer, which I want to say that I am going to go back with a full 5 stringers. And this time I'm going to run them all the way back to the transom. probably going to cut this out completely and do a little redesign on how I do the splash well back here. I say that, I'm still thinking I'm pretty bad about floating design on my projects until I'm executing. Then I kind of see what feels like will work best for me, because I do want it to drain well and not have standing water in here the best I can with as high as the drain hole is up here. They're never in the very bottom, and I'm not going to fill it and cut a new one. I'm going to reuse that same hole from the outside. Guess they didn't want it to be in line with the center stringer, but that would be right here. So they could have put it right here and it'd been a little better, but they didn't. So we're going to work with what we have. You see the absence of sun damage up here as opposed to up here. After we do get all of this restrung and refloored and retransomed, we're going to put the cap back on. We're going to sand down the whole boat, and we're going to go with either the wipe-on gel coat or the wipe-on urethane clear. Probably the wipe-on gel coat, because I would imagine it's more designed for exactly what we're doing here. And I hear that it's a little bit more substantial and rugged to the elements than the urethane. You know, for all I know, the wipe-on gel coat is urethane, but it's more designed for boats. So we're going to get back to sanding, and we hope you enjoy. Maybe you'll learn something. I'm no expert, but I do have some experience in this area. Every time I do a boat, they seem to be a little bit better. I'm going to really take my time on this one and try to set a good example. The whole idea here is for this to be the last time this boat is ever split open, because it'll never need it again. So here we go. Well, hello there. Taking a break for the day. Our new 3M size medium full face mask was leaking right around the temple on both sides. All that stuff's really important. If you can never smell what you're working on when you're wearing a good mask like that with those good filters, then it's not sealed up and it's leaking. And I could do that, and I kept going, and it made me feel kind of sickly, so I quit. I tried to work on my mask to make it fit a little bit better, and I rinsed it out and washed it with soap and such. There was dust on the inside of the mask, so it was leaking. And it's gotten hot. It's like 95 or so out here, which is a little too hot for me to be comfortable working on it. And this project is certainly eating an elephant. You have to do it one little piece at a time, so you don't get in a hurry and skip all your good prep work that really needs to be done. So thanks to movie magic, I'm going to take a break for the rest of the day, and I'll probably see you here in a few seconds. We're back after a quick little break. It's been a few weeks since you last saw us sanding, just a few minutes ago. I wanted to cover a few things about safety that have kept me off this job. I started off with a 3M mask like this. It seals up great. Love it. It's exactly what it was supposed to be. Except for the fact that I still needed eye protection, and my safety glasses wouldn't fit over this nose piece here. It was a no-go. So I was getting stuff in my eyes. I thought, you know, I'm smarter than that. I ordered a full face mask. So I got a 3M mask that would work with all my same 3M filters. And everyone's face and head is a little bit different. And I actually used to work in a related field to masks like this. And I thought, well, a medium in this ought to fit me. So I ordered a medium. It was kind of expensive. I think it was 150 bucks. I got it and I tried it. And it seemed like it sealed up okay in the beginning, and then I worked on the boat all day and I wasn't feeling good, and I started figuring out that I was getting fiberglass dust around my eyes right here. And I was really feeling pretty bad. I've been breathing it in on a hot day, and it wasn't good. So I thought, you know, I got to make this thing seal better, and I worked on it, couldn't make it seal better. So I dug a little deeper and remembered from back in my SCBA Tech days that a Scott AV3000 in a medium does fit me. So these are pretty expensive. These are really good masks. I found one on eBay for 125 bucks, more than I really wanted to spend. And it fits me. It probably really needs a new seal, but it still works. I also ordered an adapter here, a Cool thing is, since I worked on these masks, 3M acquired Scott. So they came up with an adapter to put on a Scott mask to use the 3M filters. So I ordered one of those. Well, they didn't really share on the website that they were on back order. So I waited a couple weeks and thought, hey, where's my adapter? So I called them and they said it was on back order, canceled it, ordered it from a better place. It came in 2 days later. And now we're finally back to work in a mask that seals to my face, that won't make me sick, protect my eyes, all that stuff. So these are some of the little things that you probably hate to hear about because you want to look at a boat. But these are the things that keep you going versus keep you from working. So I figured I would share that with you because that's a real world part of this experience. And now we'll get back to your favorite thing, which is more sanding. Well, hello everyone. Taking a quick break from the time lapse. As you can see, we've been sanding away. I've already trimmed out the whatever you would call this little framework right here for my, I guess if you were to call these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stringers, the even numbers, good old 2 and 4 there. I was going to try to keep these guides, but I got to thinking about the fact that I want these to bind and grip to the Coosa stringers. So I'll probably cut all these out and just start fresh. Because the whole point of doing Coosa under your floor is so you never have to do it again. So let's go ahead and go through the extra time, make it right. I once heard a guy, I guess I read about a guy on a boat forum talking about doing floors and transoms and stringers, who compared redoing your boat to having a baby. And he said, I think there was someone else on there looking for ways to get their boat fixed without all the hard work. And one guy's comment was, well, it's kind of like having a baby. You're just gonna have the labor pains. So that's about what we're going through with this. I'm not complaining. I mean, it's kind of fun. I'm just kind of Miyagiing my way through it, and it'll be a lot of work, and it's not torture, it's not terrible. And once we're done, we'll have a really cool boat. And it'll be a lot of fun, and we will have saved some money in the process. Really, honestly, saved a ton of money. This would have cost a lot to pay to have someone do. So if you're the least bit handy, you yourself can make a lot of dust and redo a boat. I'm probably going to break this up into segment videos because this is going to take a long time. And the videos are going to make it probably seem like it didn't take near as long, because I mean, I've already spent a lot of time sanding, and there's going to be a lot more. I'm not anywhere close to being done with the prep work. I could probably start cutting out my stringers and floor pieces and getting everything mocked up, but there's really no point until I get it all completely prepped and ready. And then we can start going back with the new and all the clean stuff. So I'm going to probably round this video up here. I want to kind of share this in the angle of I'm handy. I'm a mechanic. I can fabricate some. I can do some body work on cars. I can work filler and primer, and I can paint a little bit, but I'm no expert. I mean, I've quite a few years experience on mechanical stuff, but I don't know everything. And I'm just a guy at home with some tools. I don't get paid to do this. I don't do fiberglass work for a living. So if my boat doesn't break in half and works, then maybe it'll show that you can handle doing something like this too. It is pretty fun. It's rewarding. It's neat to build something and then have done that. So thanks for watching. I hope to have you back to see the rest of this fun project. I think that this will be a really, really cool deal, and it's a neat boat. It's really messy, but it's worth it. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you.